up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. Today, it's April 11th. We're having a fantastic, almost like a summer day going on here in April, so hope you guys are doing well. We're going to do a best ball draft here using drafters.com. I'm sitting in the lobby here. It's about to start in roughly a minute here, and it looks like we drew the 5th overall spot, and then I'm just going to kind of show you guys what we're looking at here from this contest here. So it's the $5 drafters early best ball championship. We're going to be drafting 30 seconds per pick. It's a 12-man league, 20 rounds, and we're going to end up starting 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, and a flex. So plenty of bench options for us. And then first place will be $10,000. So we'll see if we can figure this one out. But I've done 2 of these so far. I've had fun with it. I had the 6 spot earlier today, and now I'm in the 5 spot. So it's going to be probably a similar build, but at least I'm familiar with that position. But either way, we'll kind of have fun, and I'll just kind of recap it as we go along. Looks like a lot of experienced people here. This guy's got 103 of these drafts going and 133 for over here. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. Again, the 5th overall pick. If you guys are new to drafters.com, I did put a link in the description. If you guys want to click on that promo code, I think you're going to get a free $20 or something if you sign up and deposit and play on there. So check that out. There's also one for Underdog. And hey, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. We're trying to get over 1,000 subscribers this summer. So help us out. We'll have fun. We'll go over all of the things you need for the upcoming fantasy football and the NFL season. But here we go. The draft's about to start in a few seconds. As we're on the clock, I guess we're going to be on the clock 5th. So Justin Jefferson, Ja'Marr Chase, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Those are the top 5 players on the board here. So Justin Jefferson, kind of the default number 1 pick this season. It looks like a lot more receivers. People going a lot more receivers this year, I've noticed. And if you're wondering, Drafters is full PPR, which is extremely nice. I've always preferred full PPR. I wish Underdog would do some full PPR stuff. But either way, you can see a lot of receivers in the top end of this. Let me kind of just minimize that so we can get some more players on the board here. Let's show the first 2 rounds. But yeah, you got Ja'Marr Chase, the 2nd ranked player. Travis Kelce went number 2 overall. But there's McCaffrey. And then you have to go down a little bit to find the next running back. It's Austin Eckler. So not a lot of running backs being drafted early in these drafts. Ja'Marr Chase goes number 3. Round 2 looks like a fun running back round here. But we're up to pick. Tyreek Hill's probably going to be my guy here at 5.2. I think I'm fine with that. He had a fantastic year last year. Can build off some things with Tua. Outside of that, I mean, I'm not really a fan of Cooper Kupp at 5. Maybe Diggs, maybe AJ Brown, maybe DeVonta Adams, but I'm just going to lock in Tyreek Hill. Best ball, Tyreek Hill. Can't really go wrong. And if you're watching this and you're new to best ball, essentially it's no roster management. You don't have to set your lineups. It's going to be 20 players on your team, and they're going to score the best player possible. So we'll have fun with that. But again, notice, so they have the receivers in this gold yellow color, and that's what the first round is shaping up to be. Very, very wide receiver heavy. Not a lot of running backs. Only Christian McCaffrey in the top 5. I mean, last year when we were doing this, probably like 5 or 6, if not 7 running backs in the first round. But the tides are turning a little bit here as people are trying to grab their stud wide receiver 1. After I took Tyreek Hill, you see Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, DeVonta Adams, and AJ Brown. I'm going to see if I can zoom into this a little bit more and get you guys a better view. Looks like did it cut off a little bit there? Nope. So this guy's making the first pick, or the last pick of the first round. He'll make the 2nd round pick as well. Let me kind of zoom in and get you guys more players on the board. And there goes Austin Eckler at 11, the 2nd running back taken in this draft. And I'm not sure what we'll end up doing here at the 20th overall pick, but we'll evaluate and see what kind of running backs we can find. But either way, you have a run on running backs here. Eckler at 11, Saquon at 12, and Jonathan Taylor at 13. And then Jalen Hurts, first quarterback off the board. The other quarterbacks here, Patrick Mahomes, he's got an ADP of about 19. You got Josh Allen at 20. Otherwise, those are the only 2nd round running quarterbacks, and it looks like it takes a little breather here into the 3rd round. But 2nd round running backs, Bijan Robinson. We don't know his landing spot yet, but you can get a good deal on rookies if you guys sign up and draft before the NFL draft. I would imagine if Bijan gets a really nice landing spot, he might even move up. But there's Amon-Ra St. Brown and Garrett Wilson. So some 2 receiver builds here. to start their drafts. I mean, ideally, we're up in a few picks here. Bijan, Kenneth Walker. I'd consider Derrick Henry. Not sure I'm a fan of Tony Pollard at this point with his injury concerns. And then there's Breece Hall, who we might let into the third round. But none of these guys are going to be on our radar here. I'm open to a running back here, but let's look at the wide receivers as we're on the clock or on deck. We just missed on Bijan. There's Jalen Waddle, DeVonta Smith, T. Higgins. I'm a fan of those guys. Let's just hit by all. It's saying Jalen Waddle's the best player available for us. We could have, a little bit of fun with a Tyreek Jalen Waddle stack. I did the draft that I did earlier today too. I ended up with the 6th overall pick. I got Tyreek at 6, and I came back with Jalen Waddle. But you can see there we get sniped on Mr. Waddle. But I think Mahomes on the board here makes a ton of sense. We can just lock in the best quarterback, I think, passing the ball. But DeVonta Smith calls me. He's got an ADP of about 19.6. I do like T. Higgins. I like Kenneth Walker a lot, too. I think he could be a lot of fun. But I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to continue to lean into the wide receivers. Let's get DeVonta Smith on the team. We got Tyreek and DeVonta Smith now, 2 stud wide receivers. And, as much as I love A.J. Brown, he goes in the back end of the first round. I mean, I think the duo of DeVonta and A.J. Brown, like they're almost like the same guy. Last year, A.J. Brown, of course, had 11 touchdowns, but if we filter by PPR, I mean, after Dallas Goedert went down, DeVonta Smith went off. He was wide receiver 9 on the year, and I'm a little bit leery to pump up A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith because Dallas Goedert did miss a lot of time last year. He ended up only playing 12 games, which is a good chunk of the year, and you can see when Goddard went down, that's when DeVonta, like right around here, like week 10, that's when DeVonta really took off and he was playing like a wide receiver 1 the rest of the season. So I love getting a potential low end wide receiver 1 with DeVonta in round 2. Mahomes went 21, Higgins 22. There's Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, and Kenneth Walker. So that's a fun start there. If you get the first overall pick, you're going to get Justin Jefferson, and then you get a nice option at the running backs in your 2-3 turn. And there goes Justin Fields, the second pick of the third round. And as we're on deck here, I mean, Derrick Henry might be a nice option for us. I don't love the Titans personally, but it's hard to ignore Derrick Henry's success. DK Metcalf, Nick Chubb could lock it down for us. I'm kind of open to DK Metcalf here as our third wide receiver. He doesn't have a great average here, but I'm gonna go with DK Metcalf. We're gonna continue to build these wide receivers up. He tends to blow up and be he's kind of like the perfect best ball receiver, really. And who knows, maybe we see DK Metcalf overtake Tyler Lockett this year in fantasy. It looks like Lockett last year, wide receiver 13, DK Metcalf, wide receiver 14. I'm totally fine with that. He's not a super PPR guy, but dude did catch 90 balls last year, which I believe is a career high. Yep, 90 receptions last year, his second 1,000-yard season, and he was low on touchdowns. So if that's his career low in touchdowns last year, if those 6 touchdowns turn into the 10 or 12, we're probably looking at a top 10, top 12 receiver. So far, Tyreek Hill, DeVonta Smith, DK Metcalf, a fun little start here. You can see running backs starting to trickle into the third round, starting with Kenneth Walker at 25. There's Tony Pollard at 28, and then Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, Travis Etienne. And then we got only one quarterback going in the third round so far. That's Justin Fields. Joe Burrow's got an ADP of 37. He would be the next best available. But so far, so fun. We're looking around here. There's 3 teams with the triple receiver build. Otherwise, you got some balanced builds here. Lamar Jackson, round 3. He might be taking Mark Andrews with this pick. Everyone loves to stack. I don't think it's necessary to always stack, but getting Lamar Jackson there naked could be kind of fun. And who knows, maybe he doesn't play for the Ravens. We'll see. But he goes on Lamar and Amari Cooper. There goes Joe Burrow. So this guy gets Hurts and Joe Burrow. Don't know if I love that strategy. He's probably not going to draft another quarterback the rest of the way, but he will take a little bit of a hit with his starters in this format here. Let me kind of zoom in again. As we come back around, let's see here. We need a running back. Najee, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins. I like these guys. I'm actually getting excited about J.K. Dobbins because for a guy coming off a serious knee injury and kind of missing half of the year and coming back, like he played well. He was technically on pace for about 1,000-yard season if you look at the numbers. So I'm interested in a discount on J.K. Dobbins. We got tight ends coming off the board here. T.J. Hawkinson, tight end 2 off the board. Followed by Mark Andrews. There goes DeAndre Hopkins. Not sure where he's going to land. Najee Harris looks kind of good here. We went wide receiver heavy. They got DJ Moore, top receiver available. I know a lot of people are nervous about him going to Chicago with Justin Fields, but man, oh man, he could be a nice little piece here. I do like Christian Watson. I like Drake London, Jerry Jeudy. But man, oh man, I think we should probably just land into Najee Harris. He's not a sexy pick, but he's going to be consistent for us at the running back spot. Probably better off as a running back too. But either way, I think getting Najee Harris on our team at this point of the draft, round 4, seems to be like pretty good value. And again, as bad as the Steelers were last year, you're getting year 2 of Kenny Pickett. The offense should be a little bit better. I expect them to invest in the offensive line. And Najee he was running back 14 last year. So he's not a terrible pick. He did rush for 1,000 yards, a little bit lower on receptions than his rookie year. But either way, I like getting Najee here. But you can see there's a little bit another shift towards the wide receiver market in the 4th round, starting with, I guess, Cooper at 37. Then we go to Keenan Allen at 39, Hopkins, Mike Williams, Drake London, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, Christian Watson. I like that Watson pick there at the end of the 4th round. We'll see what this guy does on the turn. But so far, so good. We have the triple receiver stack here. This guy in the 3rd spot, he's got Jahmyr, T, Olave, and DJ Moore. So he's having some fun. And there goes Smith-Njigba, the 2nd rookie off the board here. We did see Bijan go at 18 overall. So if you guys are looking at dynasty drafts, like Bijan is kind of the clear number 1. And outside of that, it looks like Smith-Njigba is everyone's favorite guy. But we're on deck here. Receivers kind of taking precedence again here. Jameson Williams, Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin, top players available. I like Trevor Lawrence here, but man, oh man, getting Christian Kirk this late feels like a really, really good deal. He was super consistent, and I think adding a guy like Calvin Ridley could actually lift things up for Christian Kirk, and he could even have a better season than he did last year. Christian Kirk, wide receiver 12 last season, 84 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I mean, I don't think his numbers are going to change all that much. If anything, the addition of Calvin Ridley kind of to me, it takes a little bit of hit to Zay Jones, but you never know. The Jags ran a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Marvin Jones still had a lot of targets in numbers last year, so I'm not too worried about Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley went 33rd overall, but keep in mind, he's been out of football for a little bit. I think the connection that Kirk's had, I still might prefer Christian Kirk in a PPR just because he's going to be a little bit more consistent, I think. But either way, 4 wide receivers, 1 running back to start the video. If you guys are liking the content, don't forget to like the video. That helps people know this is a good one. And yeah, subscribe if you're new. We're pushing to 1,000 subscribers this year. We'll try and get there as quickly as we can. But we're closing in on the end of the 5th round here. 2 quarterbacks in the 5th. You got Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. Some veteran running backs, Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon. Both these guys were fringe first rounders last year, and now you're getting a full 4-round discount on these guys. And then Mike Evans, the last pick of the 5th round. I mean, I would love to get some running back action here in the 6th round. There goes Swift. There goes Aaron Jones. Deshaun Watson started the 6th round. Best players available in the 6th round here. You got J.K. Dobbins, George Kittle, rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. I might be interested in getting Jahmyr Gibbs. It depends on his landing spot. But based on where Gibbs is going to be drafted, like he's potentially a late 1st rounder, early 2nd rounder, and he could be going to a really fun team that will use him. I mean, if he lands on the Eagles or the Bengals or God forbid the Chiefs, you might be looking at Jahmyr Gibbs as a big draft day steal. I do like David Montgomery as well. I mean, George Kittle at this point is a pretty good deal. Still not sure who the quarterback is going to be over there. That is a little concerning. We just missed on Kittle, missed on Montgomery, and J.K. Dobbins. So I guess I will collect Jahmyr Gibbs. I know a lot of people were not super excited about his combine. He didn't weigh enough as much as people wanted, but man, we're getting probably the 2nd running back off the board in a couple weeks here, and we'll lock him in as our number 2. And what I'm excited about, we'll go to mock draft database here. I just want to show you guys. I mean, the range that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be drafted in is pretty exciting for fantasy football. Let's go to the consensus big boards here, and let's see. They have Jahmyr Gibbs about 35th, which, again, it's fringe 1st round, end of the 2nd round, but they got him going to Philadelphia in this projection, which could be a lot of fun. So if that does happen, I'll be pretty excited about that Jahmyr Gibbs snag there in the 6th round. After I took Gibbs, you can see there's kind of a drop-off in running backs. after this spot here. Like the best available running backs, Sanders, Akers. I like Dameon Pierce. Rachaad White, also a guy I'm intrigued with. But there's a slight drop off in running backs at this point. Pretty much the top 24 running backs have all been selected. I'm actually going to count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So we get Jahmyr Gibbs at RB21. A couple more running backs left to fill out that I wouldn't mind having as a running back too. Our pick is number 77. Again, look at all these guys are just pounding wide receivers here. This is a huge wide receiver block. They are just gobbling them up left and right. I don't hate Treylon Burks at this point. He's got an ADP of 71.7. I really like Dallas Goedert. Might be kind of fun to pair with DeVonta Smith. Jahan Dotson's a nice piece. Again, I wouldn't mind getting Dameon Pierce, but we have two solid running backs in Harris and Gibbs where I don't need to force it. I'm thinking, and we missed on Pitts, we missed on Goddard. So that's a bummer. What do you guys think about Miles Sanders? I mean, they paid him decent money to be in Carolina, 4-year, $25.4 million deal. They say they view him as a 3-down back. He had probably a career year last year. And to be honest, like the NFC South is wide open. They're going to get a pretty good rookie quarterback with the first overall pick. They have a decent defense. The NFC South's pretty weak. I'll take Miles Sanders, and basically we'll play whatever with Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Miles Sanders. So I like that trio. I like that trio a lot. I would have liked, if I can get Dameon Pierce on the comeback, I would totally love that. But I think for now, our build with Najee, Jahmyr, and Sanders, and then our 4 wide receivers, Tyreek, DeVonta, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk. I don't have any stacks quite yet, but we can get there. We got a couple left in the tank here, whether it's a Geno or a Tua. I don't really love pairing my quarterbacks with these guys, but we'll see what happens. It's looking like the receivers are kind of hit and miss now. Quentin Johnston, the next rookie wide receiver to go off the board. Jordan Addison would be following him. Probably going to go here pretty soon here at the end of this 7th round, 8th round turn. So we got some rookie wide receivers coming off the board soon. There's Zay Flowers, Zay Flowers is really catching up to Addison and Quentin Johnston. A lot of people like him, and he might be a mid-first rounder in a couple weeks. So he's exciting. But there goes Isaiah Pacheco. Chiefs are interesting because who knows, maybe they end up drafting a running back in this class here, because I mean they don't really have a lot going on for them besides Pacheco right now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of an afterthought. Good pick there. I like. Oh man, we missed on some good backs. Rachaad White and Dameon Pierce. They weren't going to make it back to us anyways. There goes David Njoku. Tight end, I think like number 7. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tight end number 8 for Njoku. And then Elijah Moore. So this guy builds a nice little Cleveland stack with Deshaun, Njoku, Elijah Moore. And he's got Cooper. So he's building a fun little Cleveland Browns offense stack there. I probably need to start looking at some more stackage. But either way, we're moving into the 8th round. Don't forget to like the video if you're just joining us. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you should always come give us a subscribe on YouTube. That's the best way to say thanks. But anyways, we're almost on the board. Gabe Davis is kind of fun. I know a lot of people were frustrated with him last year, but it seems like his value this draft seems a little bit better. He's still got nice touchdown upside. He's kind of a best ball receiver, and he just went. So never mind on that. But man, oh man, I don't know what to do with this next pick, because everything, you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a drop off in the talent at this position. I don't mind Quentin Johnston here, the 8th round. He's got an ADP of 85.6, but man, someone's going to be taking him in the 1st round to be a stud wide receiver for them. So he could be fun. Rashad Bateman's interesting as well. You got Jordan Addison here. There goes Rashad Penny. Just want to look at the running backs. James Cook, AK-41. We got some interesting RBs left here. Might be able to wait on that. Tight ends. What about Pat Freiermuth? I don't want to miss Pat. You can see these guys already got tight ends. He's got Kelsey. Don't really want to risk it. I'm going to take Pat Freiermuth here because I think he's kind of the last of the fun tight ends. And Pat last year put together a really nice season. He was tight end 7 on the year, played 15 games, averaged almost 10 points per game. Only 2 touchdowns last year, though. I expect that number to be at least in between 2 and 7. So touchdowns are going to go up. I expect him to be a productive guy for me in my tight end stable here. So that one we're just kind of nipping low on the Steelers offense. But either way, James Cook, Daniel Jones, Alvin Kamara. I probably could have taken James Cook, but I don't mind Damien Harris later. Maybe he's a fun guy to look at. We still need a quarterback. Let's look at the QBs available. Tua, Goff, Cousins, Rodgers, Wilson, Derek Carr, Geno Smith. I still feel pretty good about that situation. But man, these guys are just pounding. These guys have pounded the receivers. He went 5 straight wideouts, 2 rookies in this mix. Some fun with Christian Watson, Deontay, and Marquise Brown. So fun build over there in the first spot. But again, we'll see here. I like some of these running backs coming up. I really like Algier. Not sure if the Falcons are going to draft a running back. I like Zach Carbonet. He's a fun. He's probably like the number 3 running back off the board. He could be a fun pick. AJ Dillon should get a lot of work this season. Brian Robinson should get a lot of work. And then don't sleep on Samaje Perine or Jamaal Williams. I think both these guys will have pretty nice seasons. But quarterback Jared Goff. I don't have anybody to stack Jared Goff with, unfortunately. I'm gonna reach here, I think. Quentin Johnson's still hanging out there, guys. Oh my goodness. As my wide receiver 5, that could be kind of fun. I like the receivers a little bit later. Let's go ahead and pull. I'm gonna pull Zach Carbonet, the rookie, could be a lot of fun. I'm gonna pull Samaje Perine, and I know it's probably a little bit early there, but I really think that Denver is going to run the ball with him a lot because we don't know the health of Javonte Williams. There's rumors that he might miss the start of the season. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he gets put on the PUP list. So this is kind of more of a long-term gamble, but either way, Javonte Williams is not healthy. It's going to take him a while to get ready and ramped up for a full workload this year. And you guys know Sean Payton. He tends to use 2 backs. I view Perine as his prototypical, Latavius Murray banger, Mark Ingram banger that he's used the last few seasons. So I like getting Samaje Perine. I expect the Broncos to be better this year. Hopefully not as bad as last year. So we'll land there. And again, I still need a quarterback, but Rodgers, Wilson, Derek Carr, Geno Smith, don't need to force anything at the moment. We can still get some stacks with, I guess Tua's already gone, but we can still get a Geno Smith, which could be nice. We can maybe pair Geno Smith with, a Noah Fant later for a tight end stack. Dalton Schultz goes end of round 9, so a little bit of a discount there with him in Houston, Rashad Bateman, and Odell Beckham. So I like oh, wow, he's building some stacks here. He's got Lamar and Bateman and Beckham. So he's having some fun. And I'll tell you what, if you're watching this and you're like, why am I not stacking? It's more so because drafters, they don't really have a playoff format. It's literally the top scorers throughout the whole 17 weeks. So there's not really a huge edge, I think, to stacking unless you just, happen to hit the stack of the year and you ended up like, say last year you drafted Hurts, AJ Brown, and DeVonta Smith, something like that. So stacking does work, but I think that's better suited in underdog. But either way, we still want to get some exposure to some players that we have on our team already. But we're on deck here. KJ Osborne from Minnesota could be a lot of fun. He's kind of the number 2 receiver for Minnesota right now, and he played really well at the end of last year. You can see 10, 16, 18, 31, big game from KJ Osborne there against the Colts. We missed on Damian Harris, but I got one more. I feel really good about my running backs, Najee, Jahmyr, Sanders, and Perine. I'm going to grab one more here, and then we're going to start to fill out the rest. Let's grab Jamaal Williams, who now that he's with the Saints, and we're just very unsure on what Alvin Kamara is going to be doing this season. Will he be suspended? Will he, miss the full year, 6 games, something like that? Either way, the Saints brought in Jamaal Williams. I know he's excited to be there. I think he's got another fruitful season ahead of him here, and I can just tell Saints fans are going to love Jamaal Williams. He's just the guy that you want to root for. So I got 5 really good running backs: Jahmyr, Gibbs, Najee Harris, Miles Sanders, Samaje Perine, and Jamaal Williams. So now we can start to plug in the holes of our roster or simply take best player available. Let's go ahead and kind of zoom in here. Juju, you got Rodgers chilling, Lazard, Russell Wilson. As bad as Russell Wilson played last year, he played better at the end of the year. 23, 23, and 8 to 25. And honestly, like if you look at his fantasy numbers and you just kind of squint at him a little bit. Let me filter this by ESPN. I mean, Russell Wilson was still quarterback 16. On the end of the year basis, he did enough to finish as a high end QB2. So it wasn't pretty most of the year, but I still think people are kind of left with a sour taste in their mouth, I think he's fine as a QB2. And then Kyler Murray goes off the board here with Kirk Cousins. Interesting pick. As far as wide receivers go, Juju's interesting. Alan Lazard, too, with the Jets, considering Rodgers is going to be going there. But I do like a lot of the receivers later. I think we did our best effort in getting running backs here. There goes Chigo Okonkwo. You got Juju here, quarterbacks available. Russ Wilson. I'm going to land on Russ Wilson. His ADP is 120. But again, I think the Broncos are going to be set for a nice bounce back here. And then I do want to highlight, I want to make sure I get Timmy Patrick. There he is. Tim Patrick coming back. I think that was a bigger loss than people expected last year. He's a really good wide receiver. He's probably, in like real life value, he's probably up there with like an Alan Lazard type who isn't going to blow you away with his game or his speed or anything, but he's just a good football player, and he's going to make plays and catch touchdowns. And he's going to be a nice security blanket for Russ Wilson. So we will lean into Russ. Nobody wants him. We'll take him. Round 11. And what was he drafted here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th QB off the board, coming off his worst season in which he finished quarterback 16. So I'm kind of digging the value. But after we take Wilson, you see Derek Carr, Juju, Gainwell, Mooney, Palmer, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I like Josh Palmer a lot as a backup wide receiver. There goes Alan Lazard. So a little bit of a shift towards wide receivers. I should probably look at grabbing – we need wide receivers, tight ends, and another backup quarterback yet. The tight end market has been pretty hit or miss the rest of the way here. I do like Dulcich. We could maybe pair him with our Russ Wilson. I think a lot of people are excited about his future. Wide receivers on the board, DJ Chark, Romeo Doubs, Rondale Moore, Tyler Boyd, Adam Thielen just went. I think we can wait on some of these wide receivers. I like Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Mecole. There's Tim Patrick. We could draft some rookies like Marvin Mims. Interesting. They have Jawan Johnson listed as a wide receiver. That's strange. Deonta Foreman still hanging on the board here. We're up at 140. We can still get Deonta Foreman. I took Foreman in my draft earlier today, and there he goes. So I'll land on Greg Dulcich. He had a nice rookie season as far as tight ends go. I expect him to take another step forward this season. And, man, we got Pat Freiermuth and Greg Dulcich now. We finally got a stack with Russell Wilson. We also have Samaje Perine, who could be busy in the pass-catching department. So we are looking into the Broncos as a potential value this season. And we'll still try and get Tim Patrick. But at this point, we could use another backup quarterback. I don't mind, falling into Jordan Love, Stafford, Stroud, Bryce Young. Some of these rookie quarterbacks could be fun. Even Jimmy Garoppolo down here. Worst case scenario, we get Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder. Even Tannehill, Baker. These guys are down here. Gardner Minshew might be starting for the Colts this year. But anyways, ending the 12th round here. After I took Dulcich, you see Kenny Pickett, Elijah Mitchell, Isaiah Hodgins, who had a really nice end of the season last year, Jordan Love, and Tajay Spears. So I like the Jordan Love pick. I'm a Packer fan, so don't hate me for saying this, but I think people have treated him pretty poorly. He didn't choose to be picked by the Packers. I think he's got a lot of talent. A lot of people don't believe in it, but I think just as a Packer fan, the last 3-4 summers, we've seen enough to be excited about him. It's not like we have someone that we think is a bust. I think he's definitely above, like a Mitchell Trubisky, Sam Darnold type. I think he can be. I think he can be a solid quarterback too in this league, and we'll see what happens here. They just have to continue to draft some players for him. More up to pick here. There's Romeo Doubs, Trey Lance, Rondale Moore, CJ Stroud. A lot of fun. I could look at some of the wide receivers here. Quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, Jimmy Garoppolo down here. Let me look at the wide receivers. Josh Downs, MVS. I'm gonna grab my Tim Patrick just so I don't miss him. Because in my draft earlier today, I got sniped on Tim Patrick, and all of a sudden, boom, we got Russ Wilson, Dulcich, and Tim Patrick. We got a nice little pie there in the Broncos offense. And now, again, we got 5 running backs, 5 receivers, 2 tight ends, and a quarterback. We pretty much can just kind of balance out the roster the rest of the way. There goes Lance, Stafford. Again, I'm totally cool with grabbing, if we grab Jimmy Garoppolo and a rookie quarterback, I think we're in good shape here. And that's really all that's left. You got Stroud, Young, Richardson, You got Howell and Ritter as second-year QBs. Mac Jones hanging around. Tannehill, Baker Mayfield. Honestly, wouldn't mind taking a stab at Mike White. We know the injury history for Tua Tagovailoa. Would totally be unsurprised if we see Mike White start a chunk of the upcoming year. And yeah, it does seem like this is the range here where you're going to see a lot of quarterbacks. Yeah, we got to run on quarterbacks. I'm probably going to miss my guys here. I'm seeing these guys. These guys all have 2 quarterbacks, so we're probably going to get Richardson or Jimmy G to slide to us on the comeback. And honestly, like, I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he can be fine. He's got weapons. Jimmy Garoppolo, actually, if you look at his numbers last year, I mean, 17, 15, 25, 13. That was the game he got hurt. But he played pretty well last year. He was humming along as a solid quarterback too for fantasy football. And I like the offense. I think the offense suits him well. He's got comfortability with that offense, being from New England. Josh McDaniels. I actually think the Raiders' offense might be better than it was last year. And last year it was pretty bad. I mean, Josh Jacobs and DeVonta Adams balled out, but I think they have added some pieces to potentially make them a little bit better. And I'm going to say Jimmy Garoppolo is technically an upgrade over Derek Carr. I think Jimmy Garoppolo takes less risks, and he's going to just take the play that's there. Carr's a little bit more reckless sometimes. But we'll see what happens. But either way, we're coming around here. Receivers on the board left. I do need wide receivers. Rondale Moore, MVS, Alec Pierce, Wandale, Rashid Shaheed, who I like for the Saints. There's Renfro. I mentioned Khalil Shakir as being someone that I'm pretty interested in. I think he can step in. I mean, you got Diggs, you got Gabe Davis, and right now they're slating Shakir to be their number 3. But we're up to pick here. We missed on Jimmy G. We missed on Anthony Richardson. I think I'm going to punt at this position here. We'll just kind of lap up some of these other guys. And now, tight ends, McBride, Gesicki, Everett, Irv Smith. We're picking at 164. I'm going to go ahead and grab my guy, Shakir. And he's a second-year player who I'm pretty excited about. They don't have a lot of competition for him. Let's look at the Buffalo Bills. Our lads. Look at the depth chart here. They're listing him as a starter right now in Buffalo, which I think is pretty exciting. So right here you have Gabe Davis on the left, Stephon Diggs on the right, and they're saying slot receiver right now is Shakir's job. And I mean, they brought in Deontay Hardy, who used to be with the Saints. He's kind of a field stretcher speedster. But after that, they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot on this depth chart. I expect them to draft some guys maybe on day 2 or day 3. But Shakir looked like a guy that's going to be more involved in this offense this season, and I'm pretty excited about him. We'll see. Again, he's my wide receiver 6. So if we can just get 4 or 5 touchdowns out of him in that offense, I think we're looking pretty good. But anyways, moving into the 15th round, we still need a quarterback, but these guys gobbled up the QBs pretty damn good. Let me just show you guys the big board here. It's like they knew we were drafting quarterback late. Like some of these guys got 3, if not 2. And we missed on Richardson. So we'll see what happens. We're on deck here. And let's see. Brock Purdy, I don't know if he's going to play. Not yet a precise timetable for Purdy's return to action following the March procedure to repair his right throwing elbow. So, I mean, that's a lot of question marks on Purdy's elbow. I'm not super excited about it. I can draft a Sam Howell. I can draft a Desmond Ridder here. MVS, top receiver available. Leonard Fournette, Kendra Miller. So we can grab some rookie running backs, some tight ends. Maybe we wait on that. I'm going to go back to the wide receiver well. I mean, MVS, he didn't play very, very well last year, but I'm just gonna add him. He's a really good best ball receiver because at any point he can blow up and have a pretty big game. I just want to see where he finished last season. I know he was kind of in and out with some injuries. Let's see. So he's wide receiver 54. He caught almost 700 yards and only 2 touchdowns. I'm going to say he catches more touchdowns this year. And as far as it was a career year, 42 receptions for him, 81 targets. Only 2 touchdowns, but again, it was a nice step for him. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 games of double digits during the regular season. He had a nice game in the playoffs. I mean, 6 for 8 and a 116. Nothing in the Super Bowl, but either way, adding a piece from the Kansas City puzzle, not a bad idea. He's their top paid weapon too, but I fully expect them to add another player in the draft coming up, maybe even in free agency too. But we got what, 5 picks left. Having fun. If you guys are liking the video, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Definitely like the video. It helps people know that this is a good one. And again, if you guys have any questions on best ball, if you've never heard of it or never played it before, please let me know in the comments. And if you're curious, check out those links in the description. I got some promo codes for you guys to sign up and get some free cash. But either way, we're moving and grooving here. We're having fun. At this point, the draft's pretty much done. We're just going to be grabbing our bench players here and kind of filling in the pieces that we need. Again, the quarterbacks, I got hit pretty bad on them. I mean, I could totally, grab. I'm probably going to end up grabbing 2 of these guys here, but there's kind of no value in grabbing them early right now. It seems like a lot of people have gotten their guys. But we'll recap here. My quarterback right now is Russell Wilson. My running backs, Najee, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sanders, Samaje, Perine, and Jamaal Williams. I think that's enough. We're gonna start 2 of these guys every week, and then one of them could pop into the flex. But I think that's a good core 5. The receivers, we're gonna start 3 of them every week: Tyreek, DeVonta, DK, Christian Kirk, Tim Patrick, Khalil Shakir, and MVS. We're gonna start 3 of those guys every week, and then we're gonna have some competition at our flex. And then our tight end room, Pat Freiermuth and Greg Dulcich. I really like that tight end group. I think that's a fun one. Tight ends available, though. I wouldn't mind getting Tyler Conklin, because if Aaron Rodgers goes there, he's their tight end 1. And Conklin, kind of still like an unknown guy. But last year, 58 catches, 552 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's a guy that can spike every now and then. And he's very similar to like a Robert Tonyan type, where, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 5 games in double digits. So, I mean, at this point, I just like drafting guys that have a chance to catch touchdowns, and definitely think Jake Ferguson's another one here for Dallas. He's got a 203 ADP. He might be on my radar here, but man, they're letting me get Curtis Samuel this late. That feels a little weird. But I'm going to grab Desmond Ridder, because I don't want to miss out on a quarterback. And I think they're going to give him the full leash for the whole year. And I know he didn't play amazingly well last year. He did have his best game in the last game of the season, but a 15.86 games or points, 2 touchdowns in that game. He does have a little bit of a fumble bug to him, but again, I expect him to take another step forward. I expect Atlanta to take another step forward this year. I actually think that NFC South is completely wide open. Like I wouldn't surprise me if anyone wins that division, especially the Panthers, a good defense. Atlanta, they're coached well. They're going to run the football down your throat. But there we go. We have Russell Wilson and Desmond Ridder as our top 2 guys here. I'm probably going to grab one more here, whether it's Baker Mayfield or Ryan Tannehill. We'll see what happens. I don't think there's any fruit in grabbing some. I could maybe grab Taylor Heineke too, because if shit hits the fan, they're going to go to Heineke. Again, I like Jake Ferguson. I kind of want to get him because there's a vacancy in the tight end room in Dallas with Dalton Schultz gone. And again, we know that Dallas tight ends have had a lot of success, from Jason Witten to passing the torch to Dalton Schultz. That could be a nice, our final 3rd tight end. I don't even hate, Hayden Hurst at this point of the draft, he's going to have a nice season with his rookie quarterback. Noah Fant's not even a bad player either, because year 2 of this offense, he did have some spike games last year. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 games in double digits. Overall, he did catch, 4 touchdowns. We're up to pick here. We did miss on Jake Ferguson, so that is a bit of a bummer. Maybe we look at the rookie running backs here. Let's see, wide receivers: Claypool, Marvin Mims, Darius Slayton. Highly interesting here. Tight end. I'm going to go ahead and just grab Hayden Hurst. Carolina paid him good money. He's a fantastic blocker. I don't really trust the weapons in Carolina. And again, you're thinking about a rookie quarterback. Usually, he's going to be looking at that tight end as a security blanket. So I'm hoping, whether it's Stroud or Bryce Young, Hayden Hurst rounds out my tight end trio. And we got 1, 2, 3 picks left. We got 3 tight ends, so I think we're good there. I could use another, sleeper running back here, maybe a sleeper wide receiver. Again, we're going to be starting 3 wideouts, and we got Tyreek, DeVonta, DK, Christian Kirk, Tim Patrick, Shakir, MVS. We got 7 pretty good ones. And then from here on out, let's just look at the running backs here. I do like Jerome Ford. He's the backup in Cleveland. I think he has no competition for that number 2 role. You also have Chuba Hubbard, which, again, he could be a nice backup for my Miles Sanders. A little Miles Sanders handcuff at that point doesn't bother me. Otherwise, I mean, Zach Evans, people are kind of split on him in the NFL draft. He could go higher or lower than people expect. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Chase Edmonds in Tampa Bay is interesting. Ronald Jones in Dallas is interesting. I know a lot of people dislike Ronald Jones, but they signed him to a one-year deal. He's a traditional 1 and 2 down back. And I'll tell you what, I like Dearness Johnson too for Jacksonville. He's a good player. He showed some things the last couple of years in Cleveland. I think he gets kind of left behind in people's minds sometimes. So we had a couple guys that were interested at the running back spot. Wide receiver, I mean, Darius Slayton, he had some nice games for Daniel Jones. Let's look at his double-digit games. Let's see, week 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me recount here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8 games in double digits. So he's being slept on a little bit here. I think maybe that could be a lot of fun. I could lean into Buffalo with Deontay Hardy. Again, I think they basically just they cleared out some of the guys that they had there. You know, Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie, Deontay Hardy. I think they paid him good money to be here. I don't see anything but the cash. But anyways, we're up to pick here. Top player on the board, Jerome Ford. We can get a rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid. I like him quite a bit. Running backs, again, there's Jerome Ford. Tight end, quarterbacks. I'm going to punt on QB. Let's go ahead and just get Jerome Ford. He is the primary backup to Nick Chubb right now. Again, I'm just kind of punting at that one. I kind of want to get a receiver here, whether it's Darius Slayton. Totally fine with Deontay Hardy. I think I can see Braxton Berrios having some success in Miami. Justin Ross, another good sleeper from Kansas City. Some rookie receivers here, Rashee Rice. Jalen Naylor is going to be the kind of number 3 on the depth chart for Minnesota. Marvin Jones in Detroit's a nice story. Yeah, and then some more rookie wide receivers down here. Nelson Aguilar's over in Baltimore as their number 3. He's a sleeper. I do like Noah Brown in Houston too. He could be a little bit of a fun pick. Tutu Atwell actually played pretty well down the stretch. I know a lot of people scoffed at him as a second-round pick. It was a bad pick, no doubt about it. But he showed last year that he can, be a secondary receiver. But we got our final 2 picks here. I would love to grab another quarterback. If it's Baker Mayfield, it's Baker Mayfield. I'll tell you what, like if the Colts grab Gardner Minshew, man, and they don't take a quarterback in that first round, that could be an interesting spot there. But ideally, we get Baker Mayfield here. If not, I'll take Will Levis or Mike White, and we'll just finish up with a backup. Or, let's see, we missed out on Slayton. Again, I like Deontay Hardy. I think he's going to be a good player for Buffalo. And we already have Shakir on the roster. But let's go ahead. Even Van Jefferson, he's going to be on the field, I think, as their number 3 receiver. He had a couple double-digit games. He's, coming back from a serious knee injury, I believe. He could be a nice playmaker in the LA offense. Hopefully, John Mechie's ready to go this year. Let me look at tight ends. Cooper, Henry, Logan. This is the old man game here and some youngins. I'm going to grab Baker Mayfield. He's the last of the Mohicans here at quarterback. We got a dirty trio of Russell Wilson, Desmond Ridder, and Baker Mayfield. And, yeah, man, we're going to sign off here with our final pick in a second. But, yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this video. It does go kind of long. Chop it up and use the, use the tags, the time tags that I have in the video if you want to skip around. But we're going to be doing more of these. I'm going to try and do – I think for the rest of the year, I'm going to try and do at least one of these live drafts a week, and we'll mix in some underdog. That's half PPR. If you play in that, you'll want to watch those. But yeah, we're just going to kind of keep track of the ADP, see what's going on, and continue to pound away and try to win these best ball championships. But either way, this last pick, I'd like to get receiver here, whether it's Hardy, Berrios, Rashee Rice, the rookie's interesting. Jalen Naylor's interesting for Minnesota, but I expect them to draft one. I like Nathaniel Dell. He's going to be a fun rookie depending on where he lands. He could be a little bit of a fun pick there. People don't sleep on Kyle Phillips either. He's kind of the slot receiver over there in Tennessee. He had a nice summer last year, but he just couldn't stay on the field. Let me see. Anything else here sticking out? Not really, man. We're in the 20th round of the best ball draft. It's all pretty junky at this point of the day. But this was fun. Let's see here. So we're losing some receivers. We lost Deontay Hardy. I suppose Berrios. I did see videos of Justin Ross working out with Pat Mahomes. So he had foot surgery last year. He's going to be out the entire season. But a lot of potential. I mean, if he's good to go in training camp, you're going to see Justin Ross's ADP spike up. So I think that's probably where I'm going to land here. Get another piece of that Kansas City offense. But this was fun. Let me know if you get in the comments if you guys like my draft, if you hated it too. I'm open to any kind of criticism. I really don't care if it's good or bad. Let me know what you think, and hopefully we pull down this championship. And again, we're gonna have a lot of entries in this thing. So if it's not this one, it'll be another one. But I like what we did. It was fun. And we're on deck here with the last pick. I really like Braxton Berrios in Miami. I think a slot receiver for them makes a ton of sense. But I'm going to grab my guy Justin Ross here. He's just got a lot of potential if he somehow makes it healthy through the summer and gets on the field. But there you have it. Our drafters best ball early championship roster. Russell Wilson, Desmond Ridder, Baker Mayfield. It's ugly at quarterback. But again, I feel pretty strong at the other positions. Najee Harris, Jahmyr Gibbs, Miles Sanders, Samaje Perine, Jamaal Williams, and Jerome Ford, handcuff for Nick Chubb. Receivers, Tyreek, DeVonta, DK, Christian Kirk. That's such a sweet quad, of wide receivers here. And we got some interesting bench players, Tim Patrick, Khalil Shakir, MBS, and Justin Ross. And then finishing up with tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, Greg Dulcich, and Hayden Hurst. So a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000. And yeah, have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you guys later. Peace.